You are listening to 600 Saga. Today's feature is Resident by Milos Radovic. My grandma was ill at the time, stripped of her usual self. You see, she was a very joyful and healthy woman, did everything herself. I swear, she had enough strength at 65 to pick me up and toss me around. Sadly, several weeks ago, sudden health problems took all those things away from her. Someone had to be with her at all times for basic human needs. She became an empty shell of her former self. I decided to move in with her, help with everything she needed. After all, Granny was always there for me and my brothers. Immediately, I knew there would be a lot of work. It could get mentally exhausting, and it did. Yet I talked myself every day into staying a bit longer before calling one of my brothers to take over so I could get some rest. One day I got a fantastic job offer. Had to be there in 2 days for the interview, but nobody was interested in coming to take care of Grandma. So I reluctantly chose to stay. As time passed, I started talking to the mirror more than once, even thinking about Grandma's potential death. A relief to all of this. God forgive me. All of this was normal for such a desperate situation, my friend comforted me. It's hard to take care of someone, especially when you remember them in a different light. I'm a man of logic and reason. I know these facts very well, yet I had to hear them coming from someone else. Her apartment was everything to me at this point. I went into the outside world only to buy medicine and food. It took over my life, and I hated it with a passion. Every wall and everything in between, including her. Then, last night, there was a fire. It could be seen from the balcony of the apartment. Probably the reason why the electricity was cut. The town of Portsmouth went dark for some time. It was a small blaze, nothing to worry about. Contained quickly. So I decided to go back to bed, flashlight in hand, trying to get some sleep before Grandma woke coughing again. Surprisingly, she didn't. And for a moment, I thought, maybe that's it. Everything is over. She went out peacefully. But I had neither the strength nor the courage to go and check. Frozen in my own bed, surrounded by complete darkness with nothing but my flashlight. That was the moment when it appeared. While I nervously waited, something was outside, on the balcony, staring at me with its deep, milky eyes half closed. Its body was mostly covered in simple, peasant-looking rags, with brown palms dirty from the grass, most probably. It stood there, motionless and quiet, with several gray strips of hair on the round head. I went against every human instinct, and instead of jumping out of my bed, either to run or face the danger, I did nothing, paralyzed, glancing over its disturbing look. Many times I told myself, "Get up, Dylan, you need to leave. This is not right. Get out now." It was useless, until a sudden bang made me move my head toward the living room door. It remained there for several seconds before I glanced over the balcony again. The creature was not there anymore. Whatever it was. The horrors of the night sadly did not end there. I still had no strength to get up, comforting myself by saying that all of this is just a product of my hallucinations. Exhaustion got to me. That's all. I tightened my grip on the flashlight and waited for the electricity to come back on. Usually, when the power goes out, people are screaming and singing outside. They become aware that now everyone can hear them. Dogs are barking, birds calling out to each other. Not tonight. The outside world was quiet. The apartment was not. Something made scratching noises in the hallway. Long nails dragged over the paper-thin walls. Neighbors, probably. I'm alone with Grandma, and she's unable to move. It couldn't be coming from our apartment. Then a strong flash of light came from outside, followed by heavy rain and strong thunder, echoing through the sky. Suddenly, I stood over the bed I was previously lying on. Now, Grandma was there. Her face seemed young and untouched by age, while her body was still old and fragile, unable to move, but those eyes, they stared at me. Lips tightly shut, teeth grating against each other, while her face became red, full of anger and rage. Another crack of thunder, this one close to the building, followed by several more. The storm was getting closer each moment, then sudden silence, as if everything was turned off. Once more those horrible noises from the hallway could be heard. This time I had enough courage and rushed toward the door. Upon opening it, terror struck me. The hallway was completely gone. Instead, I was back in the living room, yet it was somehow different this time. Nostalgic, even. Resembling older times. Grandma was in her bed, attended by my mother, her daughter. I do not remember this moment. It was not supposed to be. Grandma got ill only recently. This was something minor, something not even worth talking about. But why? Why would I see it in front of me now? Am I going mad? Then, Mother poured some kind of white liquid into Grandma's tea. Memory shifted again, but once more I was in the same room, a different day. Mother did the same thing. Day after day, it repeated, constantly, the same procedure, with one major difference. Each passing moment, Grandma's health became worse, until she became ill, and I arrived. This was Resident, by Milos Radovic. Since birth, he has been, in one way or another, involved in both writing and reading. First, he drew simple, childish comic books with heavy dialogue before dwelling deeper into the matter of putting pen to paper, discovering the world of books and writing on a different level. Around 16, he made his first steps into the world of short stories. Gradually, it gripped him to the point where his job choice was based on how much time it could offer to the writing part of his day. Until finally, after a period of rejections, his first short story was officially accepted and published. Find him on Twitter. Check our show notes for links. Music is provided by Mads. Learn more about 600 Saga, our authors, how to submit your flash fiction, and how to support the podcast in the show notes. This has been Mariah Avix and 600 Saga.